Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fans of Skytear. Welcome. I am the Commander, joined here by Gameslayer. Reporting for duty, we are bringing you a special edition of Skytear as we are streaming live from the in-person qualifier coming from Venice. Good afternoon, Gameslayer.
Woo! Reporting for duty, sir!
Attention, Yetis, soldier. All right, so today's ground here, we are in round number 3 of this particular qualifier. We are going to have Ricardo versus Smeoz. Ricardo will be on your left side, sporting a blue-yellow squad. Smeoz on the right, sporting a mono-red.
And Smeoz won the coin flip. He chose to go first and take that Nexus of Power or whatever that card is called. And we have as objectives, we have Onslaught and Double Kill. So kill 3 heroes or kill 2 heroes in the same activation.
Indeed. Now, as you can see here, because we are live, this is not through the TTS mod, which means we will have no overlay display, no action buttons, and no way to draw up the cards, so we will be relying entirely on our expertise and interpretation of what's going on during this match.
Commander has a mouse, and that is all.
That is correct. I'm not sure how much use that'll be, but we're about to find out.
And if they play a card, the card's going to be in Italian. So
that's also true, and I can't read Italian. Also, I would like to correct what I said earlier. Smeoz does not actually have a mono-red deck. He has a half-yellow, half-red deck consisting of Satheru, Miyuki, Yami, Shafadi, Habrat, who is currently cosplaying as the Dark Vigilante, and Akuti.
It's actually a lot more yellow than it is red. It's yellow with 2 red heroes that are both able to cast yellow, and we see that we actually have Akuti and Habrat have been chosen. Habrat is the Dark Vigilante token there, and then there's Yami as the third one. So he's bringing in all of his creep-killing minion heroes at the start, with Habrat as the massive damage dealer. And we've got Shalavi and Akuti as well for the other guy. Sorry, Ricardo. That guy.
You know, the dev. Nobody really of important.
Yeah, and he's got your favorite hero as well, Kanui.
Anyways, taking a look and see what's going in the
That's going to be great. So both sides picking Akuti here. They're both going to kill some minions. And, yeah, both sides have a very low armor at the start. I mean, Yami's got 1 armor, Kanui's got 1 armor.
Yep. And interestingly enough, we do have some very nice choices for the outsider. It looks like Ricardo is going to sport the OG outsider, and Smeoz bringing the Terror of the Endless Night.
And that is interesting, because I don't know about you, but personally, on Ashen Pass, I find Terror of the Endless Night to be very awkward, unless you're using him to just hit someone in the dome and apply those slows and disarms, because trying to get that frenzy off is really difficult with how little cover hexes there are adjacent to each other.
I agree, yes. Generally, whenever I see in other games that I've played or casted, I've seen the Terror of the Endless Light mostly used just to reposition the enemy heroes, and as you mentioned, apply those slows and disarms to them.
Now, it's worth noting, we aren't playing with the new rules yet, I don't think.
Correct.
Because those take into effect on the 6th, and it is currently the 4th. So Yami is not going to be able to teleport through the dome.
Unfortunate.
But, you know, so Frenzy could be useful to both sides simply because they both have an assassin and they both have Akuti. Akuti can kill minions with his illusion and also hit things.
Yes.
And I feel like both sides might feel like it's a useful thing to do to kill the other Akuti illusion, but maybe not.
Well, that's what we have the Frenzy for.
With Akuti, it is interesting to note though that with Akuti, Kanui is getting the armor. So she will be a 2 armor hero if she's within line of sight of Akuti's illusion, whereas Yami is the armor person for Smeoz. So in terms of armor, I think Ricardo has the slight lead. But I mean, in terms of damage, that's got to go to Smeoz.
Yes. And also, that is not a mistake there. You did see that Smeoz has, in fact, corrupted his Habrat and deployed the Dark Vigilante. According to all of the Skytear lore, Dark Vigilante was apparently what you get when you crossbreed Habrat with too much Skytear energy. And so we do see Smeoz sporting that lovely miniature. All of these miniatures are beautifully painted, by the way. And I am very envious. Especially
we see Arena of Flames, Exhaust, Whoa, 5 cards gone.
Okay.
From hand. None of them were 3s, so he's looking for some 3s to lead with.
Yes.
But that goes a lot of his defense. Arena of Frames, I believe that was only one copy. He only runs one copy of in his deck. So we know what Smeoz is running. We have no idea what Ricardo's running.
That is correct. Smeoz was kind enough to share his list with me earlier in the week, so we can kind of give the viewers a general idea of what could or could not be played here. Ricardo is a giant bunch of question marks. We know that there's likely blue and yellow cards, but there are a lot of blue and yellow cards in the game.
We see Testudo on the top, and we see that Snowblind got disarmed as well. Discarded as well. I didn't see what the third one was.
It was in Italian, so I wouldn't be able to read it anyways.
But he discarded 3, Smeoz discarded 5.
Yes.
Smeoz begins, he's going to throw the Habarat into there.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so he's going to try and make use of the ability to move with Akudi at the start when he attacks a minion with Habarat's illusion. And then he's going to lead. So just standard, just goes into that dome, leads. But it's a very safe spot. Very safe spot.
Yes.
In the back.
Habarat's projection ability, the Way of the Rogue. When a projected hero damages an enemy minion with an attack action, you may move them 1 hex.
Mm-hmm. And what's worth also bearing in mind is that both sides have a melee hero.
Yes.
Both sides have 2 melee heroes, and the third one is Akudi. So it's not like he can be really heavily punished by having some sort of marksman go in there and punch Habarat and then lead. Because Akudi is probably going to have to stay in the lane-ish. Now, we can't tint people's illusion, so we just got to bear in mind that is Ricardo's Akudi illusion.
Yes. We can only hope that there will be illusion killing or some way to distinguish them. Perhaps Smeoz will do something to indicate that they are in fact his. Maybe orientation of the token or something.
Because of the way Akudi decided he would... Because of the way Shalavi was deployed, Akudi couldn't take that cover hex because that would block Shalavi's ability to go into that dome area. So instead, he's doing this. Akudi is not in cover, but that doesn't matter so much because, well, I guess if Yami wants to break him,
yes,
but that's about it. So it looks like the gold Akudi's is Smeoz's.
Yes, yeah, because we noticed that Habarat is also gold, so that is actually pretty good. Okay, so we'll use that as our distinction there.
So, okay, so Akudi kills the 2 minions and then moves into the dome with Habarat's ability. So now there is a lot of people in that dome 3.
Yep.
So there's no way in heck, really, reasonably, that Ricardo is going to contest that one. But dome is not a victory condition. And now Akudi didn't lead, but he is winning in that lane 1. And if Yami doesn't leave that lane, then that is going to be a free minion kill.
Yes.
It's a 2 against 1. It's going to push that over. All right. Kanui gets a lead from the deck.
Okay. So now, interesting question. Does Yami... I've seen some people use Yami to kill the minions, but does Yami perhaps forgo that and challenge for Dome number 2, since that was a lead from the deck if Smeoz has another 3 in hand?
It almost feels like it's a bait, but I think it's a powerful move to make. But I guess if Yami wins on the other dome, then he's still going to be able to push and get that free minion kill in lane 1, and that token is going to be against Smeoz's Nexus. So I guess that's what he's thinking of here. Kanui, interestingly enough as well, both sides have an illusion that causes movement.
Yes.
It's just Habarat's is when you attack, and then Kanui's is when you get attacked.
All right, let's see what Yami decides to do here.
Because she can just skirmish and then move and kill that minion.
Yes.
But then he loses out on that dome. You know, in terms of hand advantage, Ricardo didn't spend a card from hand on the dome. Smeoz has. So that just makes that very awkward for him because Ricardo has the hand advantage. But I mean, he's going to potentially have to discard down anyway.
Yes. And interestingly enough, actually, if you look, this is one of the nice things about this, is we can actually kind of get a peek at Ricardo's hand. The leftmost card in his hand is a 3-mana card, so interesting that he didn't use that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I believe it was a... and you see he immediately pulls his hand up.
Now, that was also very interesting there. Yami did not... I was expecting Yami... If Yami wanted to be in a good position there, I was expecting her to mark Akudi. to get that 1+ damage off.
Sure.
But instead, he just moved and skirmished and then led from hand. He's not trying to close into melee range with Akudi for some reason.
Yeah. Which, again, as you mentioned, interesting given the fact... All right, and Yami has been slowed.
And Shalavi has been fasted.
Yep, by...
So he could run straight up to Akudi here and punch him.
Yep.
Unfamiliar
Train, that's the name of the card.
Exhaustion has been played to turn that into a slow.
All right, so...
That would be why he didn't want to be next to Akudi, I guess, because he wanted to wait for the move to be declared and then slow him if he didn't. Well, could you really expect that he was going to have a thing that could then be exhausted? I don't think so, but maybe.
I mean, Smeoz and Ricardo probably have played against each other quite a few times, since I do know that playing in Italy is one of the few places that people are able to regularly gather in person and play Skytear. And we all know what Ricardo's shenanigans are like, so it might just be a case of he could do this. I'll be ready for it if he does.
But with my explanation there, that wouldn't then make sense still because Akudi... Well, I was going to say he could be on the spot below where Yami is right now, and then he still wouldn't have been in range with the Shalavi, but it looks like he's going to worship himself.
Yep.
Shapeshift himself. That's his last action. So there's both a lead in the center, so assuming they're both leading with a 3... Yep. Yeah, that's going to be a +1 advantage towards Ricardo here, so that token is going to move up, and there is a minion going to die.
Poor minion.
Poor minion.
Too bad it gets placed right back on the board. Also, we have some insider information here. Yakumo tattling on his brother. I've never seen Ricardo lead from hand from turn 1. Good to know.
Well, he had so many cards that it might as well have, right?
Yeah, because when you draw 2, you have to
he's going to overdraw.
Yeah. All right. Well, meanwhile, it's time to spawn. Both players do win their respective outsiders to bring on the field.
Both players do. Smeoz committed more, and he's paying the price slightly for it. But the Terror of the Endless Night is the sort of outsider that you could really, really work with.
Yes. And so let's take a look here. Remind everyone the original outsider's abilities, since it will be going first. The original outsider does have the abilities of the Divine Conduit, which allows you to... excuse me, take a target friendly hero takes a worship action, the Shockwave, which allows you to do 0 plus a flip to a target hero and push them, piercing damage, and then push them 2 hexes, and then simply draw 1 card. It also has an attack value of 3, as opposed to the Terror of the Endless Night, who, as GameSlayer alluded to earlier... I'm sorry?
The Terror also has an attack value of 3.
Yes. And so the Terror...
What I really like there, actually, is the Terror placement. I mean, we're talking about the outsider, but I just want to say for the Terror requires you to cast Frenzy on an adjacent hero, and that Akudi is adjacent to that Terror.
Unfortunately, though, it is target adjacent, which means that the Terror actually can't see it.
Does it really?
Yes, it does say apply Frenzy to target adjacent friendly hero, which is the Bloodlust ability. Damn. And then we also have Dreadful Majesty, place a target hero adjacent to the Terror of the Endless Night and apply Disarm. And also the Nightmarish Roar, push each hero in an AoE, basically one directly in front and to the side of that.
And we can see here, Yami has been pushed 2 hexes. Yep. She's been pushed slightly away.
That's the Shockwave.
Yep. And now Terror comes in. He's going to pull Akudi in.
Yep. So I expect that...
he killed a minion with his third. Yep.
Okay.
With his, yep. So pulled in, and what is he doing?
Well,
did he attack? He attacked. He attacked and got a 0. Yep. So that was awkward for him.
Unfortunate.
And he has a third action. What does he want to do with his third action? Because pretty much anything seems kind of weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could potentially put slow on her. No, it doesn't really make a difference where she's positioned. Slow doesn't.
Akudi is in a great spot for like just pushing, but she's in a terrible spot. Well, I think he went for a skirmish and just didn't hit anything.
Yeah. All right.
So you could have slowed and then been like, "Hey, now you are definitely within range of Habra."
Right. That is the thing. Akudi is in range of Habrat, and so with Habrat's illusion being nearby, Habrat will get +1 attack. And so we might see an attempt on Akuti's life here.
All right.
And there
he's
it
going
is.
to do it. He's going to go for the skirmish first.
Okay, I see
It's
plus
the +3.
That is an ultimate. Yeah, that is Akuti's ultimate.
You'd love to see that because Akuti's ultimate is not very good, but it's amazing as a flip.
Yeah, yes. Definitely is definitely no Song of the Siren. And then we're just
What's interesting is, arguably, if the Terror had gone and attacked the Akuti illusion, I think we would be dealing more damage overall at this point, because it dealt 2... Well, we do the same at this point, because it dealt 2 damage, but I guess you couldn't have expected the flip for 0.
Right.
Disarm is going to be played against Habarat now to prevent this damage from going all the way through.
Okay.
Because he does not want to get hit for 5.
Correct. Although Smeoz... Yep,
Smeoz is looking at something. He might have another exhaust. Or he could have a redirect it onto Yami.
Yes. Okay.
Yami is going to redirect.
Yep.
And she's going to redirect it to herself.
All right, that makes sense. Yami
willing to do absolutely nothing this round with both the slow and a disarm.
Oh, poor Yami.
Well, to be fair, she can move into Dome 3 and lead.
Yeah, I think she's just going to be a Dome bot this round here because she has...
So, great use of redirect. So now this is going to be a ton of damage. No one else is in range for any sort of shenanigans here.
Correct. That should be 7 damage, I believe. 8 damage minus the armor from the projection. And we see that token.
He only flipped +1.
Oh, I'm sorry. That +3 was from another flip. I'm sorry. I thought Smeoz was
yeah.
Okay. Nevertheless,
yeah, that was from the skirmish. So that ended up being 6 damage. And now here comes the Burning Rage.
Oh, baby. Burning Rage is going to allow Frenzy.
Akuti is at 7 hit points. He needs to hit a +3 to kill, but there's a chance.
Yeah. You're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right, let's see. Does the deck favor? All right.
Nope, just +1.
Just +1s.
Does not run Psychic Shield.
Unfortunate. Nevertheless, though, Akuti being at 2 HP means that she is easy prey for for Smeoz's Akuti to potentially pick her off during that activation if there's no healing.
Absolutely. 2 hit points. Eek.
You know what those 2 hit points could have not been? From the armor. If the Terror would have popped off the illusion token, then the skirmish and the attack.
Yeah, I think it would have been a 1, actually. So there was 3 attacks that was made to him in total. So you lose 3, but you gain 2 from the Terror not hitting you.
Good point. You're right. Math is difficult this early in the morning. Yep. Okay.
Now, Yami is actually able to kill Akuti, despite being all of this block. She could just do a worship and kill Akuti here.
That's true, because the disarm does not actually affect the damage from the worship action, so...
So if worship does 1 damage, and then the attack does 1 damage, that is a dead Akuti.
Yep.
So Yami can still get full value there. And the question really for Ricardo now is, does he actually want to use this Akuti immediately? Or does he want to just let him die so he can bring in his 4th hero, Korjov, into this game?
Right.
But Akuti is just such a valuable target, in my opinion.
Yes.
It's so good to kill extra minions, but he's only got 1 minion in the first place. It looks like he has moved, he has attacked, and he has attacked something and removed the creep. What did he attack? Who did he attack? Because there was only 1 creep on the board, I think. Or maybe I just missed it.
Yeah, I did not see who
he flipped twice, so he must have attacked something.
Or was he... Yeah, because Shillavy's not in range to do any attacks, so it wouldn't have been the double flip there. This is the problem with no action buttons. We're not sure what happened.
It feels like he might have moved and then attacked, but then just flipped twice against the same creep, which is not how that works. But
nope.
We aren't on the field, so it could definitely have been very different to us.
No. What happened was he attacked the 1 minion, and then Akuti's illusion allows you to flip against the other minion.
Right, but there was only 1 minion on the board, I think.
Oh yeah, because didn't the outsider kill off 1 from its activation?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
But I could be completely wrong. Alright, so he's bringing Akuti in. It's going to do a skirmish. Let's see if it hits that +3 to kill. Oh, he might have killed an illusion. He might have killed Harat's illusion with that, actually. That might have been what Akuti did.
Okay.
So, skirmish has been declared. He's thinking hard. He's moved his heroes in to do a nourish here, and that's what he's going to do. Shalabi is going to nourish.
All right, so that will keep Akuti alive for the time being. Moves her up to 5 hit points.
But the question is now. Okay, so he decides not to go for the swing after all, and he's going to just leave him in the cover hex.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, then, do we target the minions? Do we target the illusion?
Well, yeah, you could target the minions here. The thing is, by putting Akuti here, Terror. If you win Terror, then he can provide the nice frenzy to Akuti because that will be adjacent if they stand there.
Yep.
But it looks like his illusion is not there. He has to place the illusion first if he wanted to do this because that's what Akuti attacked.
If only there was a yellow card that lets you just spawn an illusion.
Oh, the +3. So it would have been a skirmish kill.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. Smeoz has to feel bad from that one because he wasn't able to execute on that. Oh well. Nevertheless, back into the dome.
And then he moves back into the dome. Okay. He does not feel like he wants to kill a bunch of creeps here.
Makes sense. Again, his tower, he's at 5 hit points. There's not a huge minion presence. Ricardo hasn't led from... oh, no, I'm sorry. Akuti did lead from the deck.
What? How is he leading? He moved, attacked a creep, and then moved... Oh, moves back because of
from the illusion. Yep, Habrat's illusion allows you to move on resolution.
Yeah. It's good. He's using that ability very well.
Yes. And with Yami standing guard, I find it unlikely that Shillavi goes in to contest the dome there because then Yami can just join in to bolster Smeoz's control value in Zone 3. So I think Shillavi is going to go and make an attempt on Habrat. Yep, there we go.
+1 for the skirmish, is that? Yeah.
Yep, +1 on damage. The skirmish. As the illusion token for Smeoz was killed, Akuti's illusion, there is no bonus armor being provided to the yellow heroes right now.
Mm-hmm. And here comes the attack, and there's a +2, so that is going to be 6 damage. Boom!
Ouch! Habrat down to 11.
He was feeling really bad with Akuti sitting at 5, but Habrat down to 11 is pretty good because none of the other heroes in Smeoz's lineup do a ton of damage. You've got Yami there, who's going to do really nice against the 0 armor, but you've got but between Miyuki, Akuti, and Yami, there's not that much damage coming out.
Indeed.
So if he can get rid of Habrat early, he could potentially get rid of this this onslaught win condition much easier.
Yes. All right. Meanwhile,
because Kolokov would be coming in for Ricardo, who does a lot of damage.
Oh yes, he does. We know that very well.
Mm-hmm. Yami takes a move
and goes nowhere.
She's gonna flip against the Akuti. It looks like.
Looks like she might. Yeah, if she worships, that will allow her to teleport.
And it will put her in Dome 2 for put her in Dome 2 for the lead.
Yes.
Which would mean that and then Kanui's the last one to activate. You see, and Kanui cannot get into that other dome without getting past. So you could guarantee the tie there.
Yes.
Assuming there's no presence.
Right. That is true. It is turn. Well, yeah, it is turn 2.
No, he wants to be in the lane, it looks like, instead, because there are 2 minions there, so he wants as much lane power as possible.
Right.
Flips the +3. That's beautiful. So now Akuti's taking some damage, but then he moves Akuti back into the dome.
Ooh, okay. Ejects her from the area there because Smeoz knows he's not going to be able to contest dome number 2.
And now Ricardo is free to move in with Kanui, hit Yami or something like that, and then lead with a 3 against Habrat's only lead from deck. So Yami might have to lead from hand here to prevent some significant tower death.
Yep, and we do know that Ricardo's holding a 3.
But no, so Yami instead kills a minion, which is perfectly fine.
Yep. All right.
All right, Kanui moves up.
Let's see what she's going to do now. Attack Yami and lead, as you mentioned, I think is the most likely play to happen.
It's got to be, right? I mean...
I don't know what else you could do.
I believe the attack has been declared, and it was just... Okay, and there's an overflow for 0, so there we go, 14. But it looks like... It's hard for me to tell which side has the higher modifier on the deck.
Right.
Because we know Smeoz's is pretty low.
Yes. But we also know nothing about Ricardo's deck.
Ricardo seems to have the higher numbers, but then there was an overflow there, which is a +0, which is very low. But still, damage was dealt to the Yami, and he can almost certainly lead from hand here, right?
Yep. Well, like as we mentioned,
Well, he could lead from the deck, I guess.
He could, but given that... Oh, no, yeah, Yami actually didn't lead, so...
Well, Habarat's led.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
And it's worth bearing in mind that Smeoz has a very high average modifier for leading with, but he only has he has 7 3 costs.
Okay, looks like we have an end of turn play here of Through the Eyes. Poor Yami gonna get nailed again with Disarm. No, that's not Through the Eyes. That's Snowblind. Excuse me.
He's gonna disarm Yami, which is interesting because. Was that not within range of Habarat? No, it wasn't in range of Habarat.
It is not within range, yeah. One
just barely not within range of Habarat. That's awkward. So, and it looks like he led with the Ice Wall against Dodge, so that's awkward. That's a victory for Ricardo.
Tower damage.
2 towers gone.
Okay. And that control zone is pressed up against Smeoz's tower now, so he needs to do a little bit of defensive maneuvering here in the lane, although... With the terror, Smeoz will be able to give Habarat Frenzy. In addition to yanking Kenwi out of the range of her illusion. If he spawns the terror in between his 2 heroes there on the right, you can yank Kenwi into the illusion on the left, or into the cover hex on the left, or on top of the Akuti illusion token there, and she is no longer able to take advantage of the move out upon damage effect of her illusion.
It's worth mentioning as well, double kill is on the table and they have an Akuti at 2 hit points.
Yes. Kenwi is sitting here at 18 and Shillavi at 18.
Same thing with Shillavi.
Yeah, that seems unlikely to happen.
But I mean, if anything's going to make it happen, it would be a Frenzy Habarat.
That is very true.
We have seen his ult already gone though.
Yes.
Habarat with Frenzy and the ult is scary. It looks like though he has not. All right. It looks like he has not placed the Terror there though.
Okay. Well, you can still give Frenzy to Yami, although with her being disarmed, that seems inefficient.
Yeah, Yami got there. Yami accidentally got there for him, right? Because the outsider pushed.
Right.
Outsider's pushing. It's attacked Habarat. The Terror's. Okay, he should have placed that Terror first. He should have placed that Terror first before the outsider did his stuff.
Right. The rules of Ashen Pass. Yeah, the rules of Ashen Pass are supposed to be each terror is each outsider is spawned in order of Dome and then activated in order of Dome. Although that being said,
there's a Kuti off the table.
Yep, and Korhoff has entered
which was very necessary.
Yes.
But Korjov is going to be coming into play.
Okay. So now, now I would say that... So what would the Terror do now in this case, I guess? Looks like he's going to move and then...
Skirmish, I guess?
Looks like he's skirmishing. He's moved 2.
Okay, he's pulling Shillavi all the way back there. That's a good use of it.
Yes, that makes sense.
Grapple is banned for a reason, ladies and gentlemen, and that has... Where the outsider is and where the Terror is, Shillavi has a real awkward time getting in to do any damage with people, but he can still get there with a skirmish.
Correct. Yes, you will need a move and a skirmish, or fast.
And he's disarmed now. He was shapeshifted before. I guess technically, if Habarat had got pushed instead of Yami, then Shillavi could have done some shapeshift stuff to kill minions.
Correct.
All right, deck game reshuffled.
Here we go.
We have gone through it.
Start of round 3. It means it's time for the ultimates to make their appearance here. We've got quite a few on the field. Korhoff's ultimate, known for allowing him to teleport anywhere on the field and deal a significant chunk of damage.
It's known for the text of the card.
That is a very good point.
And if Korjov gets in here immediately, this could be bad news for Habarat.
Yes, Habarat is sitting
only 7.
Yeah, at 7, easily killable.
Worth noting, Akuti of Smeoz still has yet to, still hasn't got his illusion out. So that's going to be expensive. He can't just move out, shoot something, and then move back in to the dome.
Right.
Well, he can, but he won't get that kill on the minion, which he probably really needs right now, because he is very pushed up.
Yes, and only has 3 hit points on his tower left. All right, looks like Akuti is going to activate, and we're going to start damaging Kenway. So she is within range of her illusion there.
+2, does a damage. Kanui can move if she wants.
And, she's actually going to move forward.
Aggressive, yeah.
Bold. All right, there's the illusion token, so we're going to see the attack action resolve there and take advantage of that to clear out some of those minions.
Mm-hmm. And Kuti is just so good on Ashen Pass. Shooting that minion in the far back where no one's going to ever be able to reach.
Correct. Dead minion. Flip against the minion over there on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Another dead minion.
Worth bearing in mind that Yami is not slowed this time, so she can kill that third minion with a move.
Yes. Yami's passive allows her to move through minions and flip against the first one she passes through, which means that she could potentially... No, never mind. There's somebody there. I was going to say she could potentially move through the minion to kill it and then skirmish into the dome, but you... Actually, yeah, you could do that. You wouldn't be able to lead, but you could still get back into the dome.
Mm-hmm. Kanui is going to activate. She's going to move up. She is going to flip a +3. That's her ultimate.
All right.
Good damage to Habarat. 2 damage because of the Akuti illusion.
That is correct. Unlike Korhoff, Kenway does
Soul
not...
Scream!
Ooh.
Yummy! Heart and the minion. That's a lot of damage.
Yes. Soul Scream. AoE damage there dealt to... everyone in the area, dealing, I believe it's 2 damage.
Habarat responds to the psychic vampirism. Reflect!
Oh! That's beautiful! And you can see Ricardo.
2 minions and Kanui and healing for all of that damage dealt.
You can see Ricardo's frustration. See, this is the beauty of live action games. You can't see this kind of reaction when we're on TTS.
This is going to be, at the minimum, a 15 health heal.
Oh, this is beautiful. All right, let's go.
He is full health.
I'm sorry, Ricardo. We shouldn't be laughing at you, but this is great.
Oh, all of them.
Oh, no.
He's only got one. Yeah, there's only 1 minion there, but that's still going to be 7 and 6.
Oh.
No, 7 and 7 because it doesn't care about armor. It's just damage dealt, not damage taken. So that is 14 heal. That is full health.
Oh, well, I guess Korhoff isn't going to be going for any assassinations this time. And Habrat maxes his HP.
That sort of play is game-ending right there.
That's beautiful.
Psychic Vampirism refreshed.
Okay, so to recap, in case anyone missed what just happened here, Ricardo was going to play a Soul Scream through Kenway, which would deal significant damage down to Habrat. Meanwhile, Smeoz says, absolutely not, I'm going to combo this, plays both Psychic Vampirism, which allows the caster to recover HP damage that is dealt via a power card, and then also uses the Refract card to duplicate the Soul Scream, and the Soul Scream does 4 plus a flip to each enemy hit, which, as GameSlayer mentioned, was enough to completely heal Habrat to full.
So, I would also like to bear in mind, if the deck list we have is real, there is 1 copy of Psychic Vampirism and 1 copy of Refract in his deck.
That is correct, yes. Assuming that he has not changed this.
Smeoz loves his single copies of stuff, and, you know, I hate them, but they come out well.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the pregame.
But he needs just the 1 combo play. It comes out 9 times out of 10.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel so bad for Ricardo, but that was such a great play from Smeoz there. That was beautiful.
Now it's not over yet because he's still pushing up against the tower.
Yes.
And Yami's only at 9, so Yami could be the new target.
Correct.
But you are now sitting so pretty as Smeoz. That's...
Oh boy.
Oh god. But it's going to take you a very long time to actually win here with Ashen Pass, because assuming that Ricardo doesn't let up on the pressure, that token is not going to go to your opponent's side anytime soon.
Correct.
So you've got to win by Onslaught.
Or the double
and
or Annihilation.
That is going to take you time.
Yeah, I guess you can't win by Annihilation because Onslaught would automatically trigger at the 3rd hero.
We've also lost the stream, it looks like.
Uh-oh.
Is that just me, or is that you?
Nope, that is on me as well. We are frozen with Ricardo's hand being over Kenway.
Well, you know, we saw the game-winning play, so do we really need to watch the rest of it?
I mean, that could be the case. It could be the case that Ricardo had conceded. I don't think that's likely, but it is possible.
No, I don't think that's likely either, because it still is going to take you a good 2 turns to actually win the game from that position.
Correct.
At least. Habarat dying would have been absolutely huge, because, as I've said before, Mayuki would have come in and she does not do a lot of damage, so the massive amount of damage would have been gone.
Yes.
So Onslaught would have been a much more distant possibility, but he's still got to be very careful about being pushed out over the long term. Even though he has a Kuti and Yami sitting there, which can kill a lot of minions.
Yes. Okay. So we have a memo from the chat. I'm not sure if someone's being facetious or if this is actually what happened, but it says Ricardo stumbled over cable, which could totally be possible.
No, Torian is not. Torian doesn't know sugar.
Okay. Bad Torian. Stop trolling the people.
Stop trolling the people, Torian.
So we're not sure. We do have some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, we do apologize for the delay here. This is unfortunately one of the side effects here of trying these live events. In case anyone isn't aware of what's happening on how this whole situation has come to be, Ricardo is streaming this event from his phone into Discord. We are then in a call, the 3 of us, GameSlayer, myself, and Ricardo, where we are screen sharing, and Ricardo is showing us all of this feed here. I am then taking the Discord feed and bouncing it through the YouTube channel for you guys to then view.
Okay.
So there are a number of relay points throughout this process where something could go wrong. I'm not taking credit on this one. I'm going to blame Giacomo for not watching the proceedings carefully here, even though it is in fact Ricardo's phone. We have written to Smeoz.
Well, I mean, he's Italian. He should have been there, right?
That's true.
And then he's watching in the chat, so he can fix this for us. Yeah. Totally. So if this takes a while, you can definitely blame Giacomo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in the meantime,
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I've never pronounced his name.
Unbelievable. So in the meantime, let's talk about what Ricardo's possible setups are to come back from this, because as you mentioned, that was a huge swing for Smeoz, but still Ricardo is in a strong position in terms of the Nexus control.
Right. He can afford to lose that slowly and just go for doing damage to the tower, doing damage to the enemy heroes, because they've got to have someone like Akudi use their attack actions and get rid of some minions. Although I guess with both Yami and Akudi, he can kill both minions every turn without actually using a attack action.
Yes.
But if one of those 2 characters falls off the field, which it looked like Yami, she's only at 9 health, she could die by the end of next turn. And remember, Canoeing didn't attack when we did it, just immediately soul streamed.
Correct.
So if the attack turns over to Yami, Yami could be dead this round. Which would mean that it becomes much harder for Smeoz to win through that play. And Ricardo can afford to just lose slowly on that lane and just try to grind it out and kill his opponent first.
Yes.
Also bearing in mind that it is a tournament, so there are going to be tiebreakers involved. And in a tiebreaker situation, Ricardo does win because he has dealt damage to the tower.
Correct.
So that's just a stop or lose play, not a win play.
Right. This is a situation, yes, where playing defensively and kind of stalling out would in fact be effective.
The only worry you've got to be careful of with Ricardo, well, actually, not so much a worry. Korjov is on the field. Korjov only has 14 hit points, but Korjov has Shalavi to back him up, so that all these melee heroes that Smeoz has brought to the table will be taking revenge procs.
Yes.
So he could potentially grind out through having revenge as well.
That is very fair.
And also that was only the very first 3 costs we've seen in the game. We have seen Smeoz go through basically his entire deck. We've seen all of the ultimates.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw all 4 ultimates in the deck. But Ricardo could be holding on to a Shalavi ult or a Korjov ult still.
Yes. And being that if Korjov does shapeshift, obviously the ult in of itself allows Korjov to teleport anywhere onto the map. If you're shapeshifted, then you get to deal 4 damage to a hero. And so that 4 damage, of course, being piercing.
So it's also a card, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it 4 plus a card?
Let's go ahead and check. I'm sorry. It's actually 3 plus a card.
3 plus a card,
yes.
which is usually 4 in our evaluations. Yeah.
So functionally speaking, approximately 4 to 6 damage. And it also does apply disarm, which poor Smeoz has been getting disarmed left and right during this game.
Mm-hmm. He does have some counters to that in the form of exhaust.
Yes.
Because that can remove your own. That can remove your own thing, which is it's the opposite of exhaustion. It's but yeah. It's a weirdly named card for the ability you get if you're using it on yourself.
Yeah, it is definitely true that the name exhaustion doesn't quite fit when you're using it on yourself. But again, it's one of those situations where the lore and the gameplay or the context and the gameplay don't necessarily quite line up.
Mm-hmm.
So it does appear that the feed has shut down entirely. So I'm hoping that perhaps we are rebooting. And we will be able to get back into the game soon.
You know, if Ricardo pauses the game to be like, hey, I need to fix this feed, that can only go in Ricardo's favor because he's going to win through time breaks.
That's true.
So the longer there isn't a feed, the better this is going to go for Ricardo.
Which is funny because people we have a number of the meme and running jokes in the community, of course, one of them being to blame Giacomo for everything that goes wrong. Another one of them is that Ricardo changes the rules to suit himself. Again, of course, I'm sure this is unintentional, but this does nothing to help his case. Oh, poor Ricardo. Also, now Zeragol does propose that perhaps we blame the shop for the bills for the internet connection. Also a possibility as well. At which case, then we go ahead and blame Giacomo for not selecting a store that is, current on its payments.
What you've got to remember, though, is it's a lot easier for Europeans like us to make our payments for the internet than it is for you Americans.
That's very true. That is very true.
Politics.
Oh, love them. They're great fun, aren't they?
Absolutely. Now, in terms of Smeoz, so Smeoz is playing a more... Well, Smeoz, I wouldn't say he's playing a more aggressive deck necessarily, but he's playing a deck he's playing a deck with Habarat and it's got frenzies, right?
Yes.
So he can, with Habarat now having frenzies, he could potentially just wipe Korjov off the board in one turn. If Korjov does decide to fly in and do some damage to Yami to finish her off, Habarat could just one-shot the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be really, really bad for Ricardo. Because then suddenly in the tiebreaks you're drawing.
Right.
Because there would have been 2 kills to 1.
Correct.
Wait a second, how do tiebreaks work? There's
That's
only
what I'm
2,
pulling
or
up
is there
right
3?
now.
Because you would also have more on the card of Onslaught as well as killing more heroes.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. That's what I'm looking for right now is the tiebreaker rules. Because of course I don't...
And whilst we did see all 4 ults in the deck that had been thrown away, he did also draw 2 cards since then.
Yes.
So you never know. If Habarat drew Habarat's ult, it's pretty strong.
So, unfortunately, Google's not helping me. I was looking on the website for the tiebreaker rules, and I wasn't finding them, so I thought I would try to get lucky and and I Googled tiebreaker rules Skytear, and instead I got MLB 2020 tiebreaker scenarios, earned income tax credit tiebreaker rules, playing a tiebreaker in tennis. Nothing that is even closely related to Skytear, so... we're going to need to search through the rules, I think, here. Which probably should have been the first thing to go to, now that I think about it. Let's see.
That would have made a lot of sense, to be fair.
Why would I ever do anything that makes sense? Like, that just doesn't feel good.
So I'm using my Google Foo, but that's not helping so much. The Google Foo there is to put Skytear in quotations, in speech marks.
Okay.
because that forces it to be Skytear as it's like it means that Skytear has to be one of the words that it looks for.
Okay, well, good to know. Actually, if you just go to the rules channel in the Discord, shockingly enough, there is something pinned that takes us right to the rulebook. So here's how we do. Here's how we do tiebreakers.
Are you saying that Discord is useful and everyone should be joining it?
I am. That is exactly what I'm saying. So here's what we have for the tournament rules. So based on, obviously, the results, victory by objective gives you 3 wins. Victory by tiebreak gives you 2 points. Draw gives you 1. So the tiebreak rules state the following. If, at the end of the game, none of the players have achieved one of the victory conditions, players proceed to tiebreak the result based on the following conditions. First bullet. The player who has defeated more enemy heroes, +1 tiebreak point. Second bullet. The person who has dealt more damage to enemy towers and nexus, +1 tiebreak point. Third, the player who has more counters on victory cards, if any, +1 tiebreak point. Count only Tactician, Onslaught, Tamer, Skytear, Master. If a player scores more tiebreak points than the other, they should report a victory by tiebreak. Otherwise, the game ends in a draw.
So Smeoz is technically winning then until Ricardo kills Yami.
Yes.
If Ricardo can kill Yami. So maybe this stream stuff is actually going on Smeoz's favor. Assuming they're trying to fix it and not just finishing the game.
Well, I did mention Smeoz. I did send a message to Smeoz, and I believe Giacomo did as well.
I sent a message to Ricardo.
Okay, so we haven't heard anything back from them.
Nope.
So we're just going to continue hypothesizing about what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. I thought we had something for a second. I was wrong. But apparently during all of this case, it seems that Giacomo has been tired of us blaming for everything and has decided to flee the country and live in Portugal. So we wish you and your family very well in Portugal. We thank you for all your services, and we hope that you'll be let back into the country when you choose to return.
As a British person, I would say that Portugal is a great place to be. I have holidayed in Portugal in the past.
Very nice.
And yeah, you probably want to be in Portugal rather than Italy in this current COVID situation. That said, I would be very surprised that they would allow him in there.
Right, yeah. Immigration policies are a little bit tighter during the current global pandemic issue. Most countries are reluctant to allow inter-country travel and movement.
I mean, he could have always pulled a Kyle and been like, hey, my EU right gives me the power to move at will, so I will be using that, thank you very much.
That is true, because unlike Great Britain, Italy did not vote to remove themselves from the EU.
Right, but we still have that power as well at the moment.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's right. The final resolution...
We lose that in, like, December.
Okay. That's right. I couldn't remember when the final resolution, or however you want to phrase it, ordinance, or
yeah. I mean, it probably is never going to happen, but we'll see.
That's true.
I'm in the denial camp at the moment. Still, so.
If I just believe hard enough,
I went through the 5 stages, and now I'm back in denial. You know.
Oh, wow. That's not how you're not supposed to loop back, Game Slayer. That's not a good sign. Oh boy. All right, so. Still no updates.
So one option is that we go into Tabletop Simulator, we get into that position, and we just play the game ourselves and say, so this is what actually happened.
That's true. We can just simply reinterpret history. Although the one flaw with your plan is we have no idea what cards are in Ricardo's deck unless you took all the notes. I will admit that I didn't write every card down.
Don't worry, I mean, I have enough of a memory to know that we didn't even see the rest of the cards in his deck, so it's impossible.
Okay, that's fair. I couldn't remember if he, okay, that's right. I couldn't remember if he... I knew Smeoz did, but I couldn't remember if he flipped his deck or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's looking like Giacomo is saying that, hey, we're not going to get another stream. So that is unfortunate. So we're just going to have to say that Smeoz wins this one.
Fair enough.
Because it was Ricardo's job to make sure he had a stream going. And that was a beautiful play from Smeoz. And if judges had to be called right then and there, Smeoz won. And if judges were called right there and there, they'd give that at least an 8 or a 9 out of 10. They'd hold up those signs in the Olympics and say 8 or 9 out of 10 for that play of refracting.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful. was absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at those deck and I'm like, the Psychic Vampirism, that's a fairly dead card because he hasn't brought any of his direct damage, but he doesn't need to.
That is correct. Why bring direct damage yourself when you can simply duplicate the opponents? All right, well, with that being said, everyone, unfortunately, it does look like we are going to call it. This was a fun experiment that worked until it didn't, as they say. So thank you for those of us who have joined in, and also thank you for those who have stuck around to listen to the two of us ramble about random topics for about 20 minutes here. We will see if potentially we can get another game going later in the series, or if we're just unable to stream again. So for those of you who are on the Discord, which should be everyone, as we mentioned, being on the Discord is awesome and a great place to be. If there is going to be further games that we'll stream, I will post a notice for us in the content and the general chats. And if not, then we blame Giacomo.
Absolutely, especially because Giacomo's got some really bad logic here. He's saying he's trying to call him. If he's trying to call Ricardo and not getting an answer, and we're using Ricardo's phone to get the stream, Ricardo's phone could have exploded, and that's why he can't respond.
That's also a possibility. We have no idea. So please stay tuned. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We apologize. We were not able to bring you the entire game, but it wasn't.
We brought you the highlight.
Yeah,
and that is all that matters.
We did get to see the highlights. So, for myself, for the rest of our broadcast crew here, Gameslayer, Ricardo, as hopefully his phone did in fact not explode, we thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next tour of duty. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
And stay tuned in the content channel.